Good morning, gentle peeps. So today we are going to actually completely clean out the sand filter. So we'll do some tutorial over it and some things that if it gets too dirty, too much muck in it, you've got to clean it out just like a cartridge filter. Difference is you only do this every once a year, 2 years, 6 months, somewhere depending how dirty your area is, how dirty your pool gets, but it's way better than a cartridge filter in my opinion. But the messy cleanup is a little tougher, and we're fixing to go through that. So stay tuned and let's watch and see how we go through this cleaning of the sand filter. Again, mine's a 12-inch Intex sand filter, and I'm Jack Lacey. So make sure you go down below and subscribe. I definitely have a lot of videos on pools, dogs, relationships, and different things, and I definitely love to hear back from you in comments. Ring that bell, and let's get started. All right, so this is the sand filter, 12-inch. Again, we want to make sure that we empty our bucket here. So your Hayward skimmer, a lot of people can put a valve here. That way it'll stop the water from going in here while you're cleaning. I have not put a valve on here yet. So at this time, I just use a piece of vinyl and I put it down in the bottom to block the hole from the water going in and out. And that seems to do a good job, and I'm cleaning out everything and doing stuff to the pool. So we're gonna go with that and see how that works. As soon as we pull all the water out of there first. Anyway, put that vinyl down there. That way when you open this up, you definitely want to let it drain. I have a brick under here. But open this up and let this thing drain a little bit. So let that drain. What it's going to do is going to suck the water from in here down and get some of this dirt out of here that I have in there. And we'll let it drain out just a bit. This is going to be a watery mess by the time we're done, but that's all right. That's why I have it over here in the dirt. Let's see if this helps speed it up a little bit. Don't go too fast because it'll get all the dirt out of that thing. And then we'll cover it up. Okay, I got a little bit more dirt out of there. So again, we'll put this piece of vinyl down in here like this. And like I said, I just use it to cover up the hole and keep water from going down there because I don't have a valve on here or a stop plug yet. And it'll keep the water from the pool going down there. I put the skim bucket to kind of give it some pressure to hold. Now, get some water out of here. And the water out of here. Turn off. Make sure you turn off this valve so you're not having water going back in from the outtake and back into your sand pump. And while you're cleaning it, let's make sure that you're putting closed. You're closing everything off so water's not going in and out in different areas. So we're letting this all drain out now. What you want to do is take the lid and cap off. Don't lose any of your seals, okay? So make sure you get all your seals and keep those because we're going to clean every part before we put it back in there. But get your strainer bucket again. Make sure we're going to clean that better, but we're just getting the big chunks out of there for now. And we're going to clean all this stuff after a while. Put that back in there to get that suction. And what we'll do is we're going to unscrew this. We're going to take this off and clean it too, because it needs to be cleaned. And if I do have any little bit of water come through, I'll just go on the ground here with the rest of the water that I have everywhere. Now you can take this nut off right here on the inside. And again, we got to clean all this off because what happens is all this gets gunky and yucky from pool collective water. You pull this off. Out that dirty water, but you're just going to keep this nut here. We'll do it back on there. But again, we want to clean all this stuff off really good before we put it back on after we change out the sand. So we'll stick all that to the side so we have it. And we'll clean all this off here a little bit. Also, everything is closed. Everything's closed. So you want to take this hose off. Like I said, I'm just separating everything. Oh, you know what? I need to undo the power though, real quick. Hang on. All right, let's make sure that you're undoing the power, all right? You don't have power running to your, you don't want it all turned on when you're trying to work on it. And again, I'm gonna set everything to the side because I want to make sure I put it back together right, and I also want to make sure it's good and clean. This is my motor. We're gonna get in here in a minute because I want to make sure this is all clean in here because I see it's kind of gunky inside. So I'm gonna make sure it gets clean there. So we'll do that here in a little bit. Let's set it to the side right now. Same thing, we'll take this one off. I've already closed the valve from the outtake coming in. It'll have a little bit of water. Gonna let it all come out. Let it drain out. Get rid of all that yucky water there. All right, so now you want to unscrew this area to let all the water out of the sand. Hopefully any extra excess water you have coming out of there will come out of the sand and we'll get out of there. In the meantime, we'll work on the rest. What we're gonna do is we're gonna open this up to backwash, so we can let any water out up here. This is your backwash area. So let all the water out of there. All right, so we pulled our sand filter up here. This is the area we're going to use to suck out all the sand out of it. Suck all the sand out of it, but we have to take different parts. So you got to unscrew here and here, take off this cap off. All right. And again, we want to take off. You want to unscrew this part right here. One of your hinges. Now, a lot of people use electric ones, and that's fine, or battery operated drills, and you can do that. But sometimes I'm just working out here, I just like to use my regular good old-fashioned screwdriver. Now we're going to go to the other side and do the same thing. On this side, all I'm doing is just opening this clamp up because we're going to put this clamp back on when it's done. But just like everything else, we're going to clean it off real good first. So I like to loosen one side, and we'll take one side completely off, but not the other side. So this one should come completely off. Now, don't lose your little plastic head that goes on the end of the screw. It keeps it from getting dirty and all that good and whatnot. There it is. So I'm gonna put this back together so I don't lose my screws. Plus we're gonna wash it also. But I'm gonna get it enough that I can put this piece of rubber back on the end of this screw right here so we don't lose it. So right there just helps protect it, helps it keep it clean, all that good stuff. So we'll put it up there to wash it. Now, this should just lift straight up. So this is your head here. And look at that. See that gunk? That means my pool was dirty, nasty. So it needs to be clean. So we're gonna clean all that. We're gonna work on cleaning in here. So look how dirty, nasty. But to do that first, you gotta pour out some dirt, or pour out some water. I gotta still get too much water in here. Pour out some water. Now we got sand starting to come, so we don't want to mess with that because we don't want to break anything. So this part right here, your center part, you never want to get sand down in here. So we're gonna have to get some tape and tape this up. So as we're getting the sand out, no sand goes down in here. you definitely want to make sure that sand does not get down in there, because it will mess up your system. So let's get some tape. I am a firm believer in Gorilla Tape. Now, duct tape was the thing for years, but man, when Gorilla Tape came out, I learned all about it when I was a store manager working for Home Depot. There's no plug for Home Depot, no plug for Gorilla Tape. Don't make any money off either one of them, trust me. But you can probably get Gorilla Tape other places too. I know you can get it at Hobby Lobby, but no plug for that, because I work there right now. But again, I just tape the top of this really good, because I don't want any sand getting down in that center part. I'll show you. So that keeps sand from getting down in there. A good seal in there. That way we're not getting any sand when we pull it out. Now, you want to take our wet vac. So while you're vacuuming, make sure that you're being careful not to break anything on the inside. That center part is very delicate, so continue to vacuum each time and just watch that as you're vacuuming, and keep a little bit of water going and forth to get it cleaned as you're going. Just giving it a good little clean in here to get the last bit of gunk out of it. We're good. Maybe we'll do it one more time. Get all that sand off there. Let's use that jig string. Yeah, jig string. Look at all the particles. Alrighty, we got that cleaned out. Now again, when you're working with stuff like this, make sure that you tie your electrical up where it's not hitting the water in the ground anywhere, because you don't want to short your fuses or hurt yourself. So definitely keep that up off the water. But anyway, here's the bottom. It's all cleaned out with sand. Now I'd hate to see how long that took me to do with by hand, scooping it out or with a scoop. Plus I never got that clean. It took a long time. So having a wet vac, if you have a big one, then you're in luck, because it's probably gonna work a lot better. I have a little one, which it still worked pretty well. And I had to empty about 6-7 times, but that's all right, it was worth it. So now we're gonna see about adding sand back in here and getting some good, clean, new sand. All right, thanks. Okay, so now that you have your thing all clean and empty, and all your sand is gone, you can take your tape off of here, because hopefully you kept this. So this right here is going to go over the top, and what it's going to do is it's going to keep sand from going down inside there, but it's also going to keep it centered, so that there's a pole down inside centered. So before we do that though, you want to add about 50% water down in here. So we'll do that now. We've got to put this cap back on, otherwise our water's just running out the side. So put your cap back on here. So your water doesn't come out. And like I said, we're gonna put 100 pounds of sand in here when we're done. So you want to take this tape off that you had protecting earlier from the sand getting down in there. That looks pretty good. No sand got down in there. Don't forget to throw your trash away. Let's protect the earth. You can reuse it for something, reuse it, but tape usually you can. So anyway, put your, this, like I said, this keeps it level, keeps your pole centered. I turn it so I can see my maximum level of sand that I'm going to put in here. So let's open our sand bags. Now you can buy different kinds of sand. This is probably the good cheap sand, but it's actually a decent sand, quickcrete. There's different brands, depending on where you're at. Now it could take a bag to half to 2 bags depending upon how much sand you put in there at the level where it says level is full. So make sure that you're watching that as you put your sand in. Remember, there's silica sand too I think you can use. That will be what I use next time to give it a try. But I'm just using good quickcrete sand at this moment, and it took about a bag and a half or so is what same as it took last time I filled it up. So it should be good to go. Now you had to reach down there and mess with the sand some. You just got it fall in all the crevices. Make sure you're smoothing it out. Get all the sand off the top of here. Because again, remember you don't want the sand to come down in there. So reach your finger down there and just kind of work it. Talking about, it's supposed to take 100 pounds bags of sand. See, when I do this, I'm feeling like I'm getting pretty much to the level. Not even a half pound, not even a bag and a half. It's all right. This is nice, clean, new sand, and we got it pretty close to the top now. Going down anymore, but we'll give it a little swirls here to make sure. Now you're going to do a backwash first and get rid of all this dirt and the sand. Clean the sand out a little bit before you run into your pool. But honestly, I think that's good. You can take more sand than that, so again, it's up to you. You have to see how your sand does. Number one cleaning is this right here. So I got to get this cleaned off really good. So I may have to take it apart. We're going to try and see what we can do here to clean it up. So I am going to take this off because I'm going to check it real quick because it was really dirty on the outside. So we're going to take it off and look at the inside of this thing, make sure there's no filth and gunk in here. Oh yeah, definitely want to take that off. Whoop, I just lost my screw. Don't want to lose your screws. You can clean on both sides. Now I want to clean this part right here. Put it back on there. Again, make sure you're not losing any of your rubber seals as you're going. Otherwise, you're going to have leaks and it's not going to be a good day. You got a magnetized screwdriver, that probably helps. Again, I'm just using a good old-fashioned screwdriver. Now, you want to take this part out that you use to fill up your, because this is just for helping keep the center centered and keeping sand out of it. So you need to save that for next time you got to clean. So let's put this back on. Slip it right over the top. We'll line it back up here in a second. I'll remember which way it goes. Okay. So again, we're going to line this back up. So this will actually show over here. So it'll go this way. You want your water coming out there. You want your inlet coming here and your outlet going there. So we got everything good. Now I do want to go ahead and close this back up. Put it on closed. Anytime you're moving around doing stuff, keep it on closed. All right, now again, we're going to take this screw out, so don't lose your little rubber end piece. Make sure you're holding on to that so when it falls, or you take it off like that. There we go. Still finding a little bit of gunk in between all this. That's just outside dirt. this thing taken off. Like I say, I always take one side off and leave one side on. Just loosen the other side. And we'll put this back on here. Now you have little indentions to kind of show you where this goes. So keep your thing in between the indentions there. And we'll start with screwing this side back on first. All right, so you want to make sure that you clean out all the ports of your motor. Clean out the bottom. Make sure you're cleaning where the water goes the intake and the outtake, coming in and out of the motor itself, because you'll make sure it's debris and sticks and trash or anything that's dirt that's in there is all washed out and cleaned out before you hook it all back together. And you'll also want to make sure that your skimmer basket that hooks up to your motor is all cleaned out of all dirt and debris. And make sure it's good, no slime or anything left over. Make sure it's clean. Stick that, it kind of scoots back on there. You can feel it, it has a little notch there. Once you get it on there good, just hand tighten your nut here. On the inside. And again, hand tighten is all you need. You don't have to go crazy. Hook your outlet back in. Excuse me, your inlet of water. Oops, make sure you're not stripping the. Make sure you're getting on the threads right. You want to strip your threads. So just making sure you're getting. You can feel it. You can feel if you're starting to not get on the threads right. You can definitely tell a big difference. So putting that there, and then you have, once it goes through the filter basket, and before it goes into the filter, this tube, and again, make sure you're not cross-threading, and make sure that you just hand tighten these good. Some people put some plumber's tape sometimes, but I haven't needed it with a good gasket, rubber gaskets that are on it. I hand tighten them. They go really well. They do well. This off. Put your top back on here. Your water's going to go back in there. Let's wash that off a little bit. Again, same thing, hand tighten that. You'll hand tighten this even though you're going to let the pressure come. So I'm going to loosen it just a tad. So when we hook the water back up, we'll go through there, it'll do correctly. All right. So make sure on this part, we almost forgot. Put your strainer basket back in here, but make sure you wash this out good. So put your strainer bucket back in there. So it's ready to go. And again, hand tighten this. And make sure this is a little loose so that you get the water pressure built back up. Once the water builds up, we'll tighten it up. So right now everything is closed. We're gonna let some water back in here. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna backwash, but we gotta let the water back in first. So here comes the fun part. Make sure nothing's leaking. We'll check everything out. So we're gonna open this back up. Remember here, you put that little filter in here. This little thing to block the water. So we'll open that back up. So the water will start going back down in here. And filling up. Open this up. Okay, there we go. Now we got full of dirty water from the dirty pool. All right, tighten that back up. Now we'll clean it all out and get it going. So let me go plug the power back up because we're going to run it through. Make sure we have everything hooked back up. Put your skimmer bucket back down in here. All right, so now we have power hooked back up. Skimmer bucket's in there, water's in here. We want to do a backwash, so I'm going to open my backwash. I'm not going to hook up the hose. I'm not going to backwash it for very long. It's just going to squirt out here. But we want to do a backwash. Get rid of some of this excess water here, and we're going to let some of that excess water run out of here real quick. I'm just kind of cleaning out the sand that we put in there. I'm ready to run with the pad. Looks pretty good. So we'll stop that. Now we're going to do a rinse. So turn your, we'll do about 10-second rinse. What this does, this helps settle your sand. It helps get the sand back in the, it cleans the sand, it helps the sand get settled back in. Do the rinse, and then that's good. Alright, so then we want to close it. I close it back up every time. So it keeps it closes all the pipes back up. And I put this back on, cover up anything getting in the backwash area. Now, we got it all ready. Again, we're going to let some water back in here and some air from that. Eventually, you want to get all the bubbles out of there. So it's not bad right there. So we're going to let it filter some water now. So you want to turn on the filter. And we're going to run it for 12 hours. Just going to let it push through here. So it should be circulating in here. It's already collecting leaves and hadn't even barely gotten started. That's good. We'll put this back on, cover. Okay, so it's ready, everything's ready. So before you start, make sure that you don't forget to go back and open up your valve. So let's unlock this valve. Let the water go back into the pool. Then we'll turn our power on. It's going to shoot out some water. There's extra leave out of here. So that is how you get your filter clean from start to beginning. Thank you for watching.